In France, 14 people go on trial today, accused of involvement in 2 terrorist attacks, including one at the offices of the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. The twin attacks in Paris 5 years ago killed 17 people. The trial, which will be the first terrorism court case to be filmed in France, is expected to last for 2 months. Katie Dartford reports.
In this courtroom in Paris, the trial for the January 15th attacks on satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo and a kosher supermarket begins after more than 5 years of investigations. It will be the first trial for a jihadist attack since 2017 and also the first terrorism trial in France to be filmed. 14 defendants face a variety of charges related to helping the perpetrators. The Kouchi brothers, who killed 12 people during the attack on Charlie Hebdo, and Amedy Coulibaly, who shot dead a policewoman in Montrouge, and 4 people, all of them Jews, in a kosher convenience store. 3 of their main alleged accomplices will be absent from the trial, including Hayat Boumediene, the ex-companion of Coulibaly, who had left France for Syria via Turkey a few days before the attacks. Believed for a time to be dead, she was reportedly seen alive in October 2019 in Syria, where she escaped from a camp. Investigators are still hoping to find her. It's thought she helped Coulibaly finance the attacks through scams. She faces 20 years in prison. Also absent from this trial are the Beloucine brothers, who had also joined Daesh in the Iraqi-Syrian zone before the attacks. They could have been killed in fighting. Accused of complicity in terrorism crimes, Mohamed Beloucine faces the heaviest sentence, life imprisonment, as does Ali Riza Polat, who had been in prison since 2015 but will be present at the trial. The other defendants served primarily as logistical support by providing weapons, ammunition, money or vehicles to the 3 terrorists. Only one of them, Christophe Rommel, is not going to be tried for acts of terrorism and will appear free in court. Nearly 200 people have joined as civil parties and several of them are scheduled to testifying. The trial is scheduled to run until November the 10th. Katie Dartford for Euronews.
Ahead of the trial, Charlie Hebdo has reprinted the controversial cartoons that the terrorists say motivated them to carry out the attacks. The satirical magazine said it was essential for them to republish them on this week's edition. When asked about the reprinted images, French President Emmanuel Macron defended the right to free speech, including blasphemy.
There is also in France a freedom to blaspheme, which is attached to the freedom of conscience. And so, from where I am, I'm here to protect all these freedoms.
We will
all have a thought for the women and men who were cowardly slaughtered because they were drawing, because they were writing, because they were correcting, because they were there to deliver, to help, because they were police officers. That's what happened that day.
Well, our reporter Guillaume Petit joins us in the studio now for more on this. Guillaume, morning to you. We've just heard the French president there talk about issues of freedom of speech. What has been the impact over the last 5 years on France and French society since the Charlie Hebdo attack?
Good morning. Well, it's important to remember that a long French tradition has been targeted with this attack. The freedom of speech and the freedom of blasphemy or to criticize religions. Charlie Hebdo has been a source of controversy years before the attack because it has pushed boundaries that are not clearly defined. How far can we criticize a religion? And ever since this debate has kept popping out in the French society. We remember this young teenager criticizing Islam on Twitter. It has gone viral and she got threatened for days. And it even divides the French people because a recent survey showed that only half of them think we should criticize even outrageously a religion or the symbol of a religion. But these attacks have also being the opportunity for some political parties to point out what was described as a lack of action to fight radicalization in prison, for example. That's where most of these terrorists met. There was at that time a will for more surveillance, and there's been a sort of overview of our law. Some of these terrorists were not under intelligence's radar, but most of them were, and it has shown the difficulty to keep an eye on them, and it has created a debate on how much information the state should know about them, and how far do we have to give a part of our liberty to protect ourselves.
Guillaume, thank you very much.